Good afternoon. Good afternoon to all. Good afternoon, dear parents. We meet again today itself. Can you hear me? Am I audible?
Yes, you can
Yeah,
All
yes,
right.
hear you.
good morning.
Okay.
Yes,
May I request you to please mute your audios? Thank you. Parents, first of all, I would like to thank all of you for joining this webinar. I understand you have a lot of work at home and you to attend to your other domestic chores, so I won't waste much of your time and I will come straight to the point what this webinar is all about today. This webinar is basically intended to brief you about the key features of the National Education Policy 2020. We, as teachers and parents, stakeholders, need to understand it well and undertake the responsibility of implementing it to the maximum at the earliest. I now request our school vice principal, Ms. Dipanjana Gupta, to briefly explain you what all the National Education Policy 2020 is about. So over to Ms. Dipanjana. Thank you.
good afternoon, everybody, and thank you, ma'am. Thank you, all the parents, for taking out your valuable time to attend this webinar. We are meeting for the second time again today with some of you probably, and some I think you couldn't join in the previous meeting. So we are holding this webinar again today. We'll talk about national education policy, and as you know, this education policy has been a hot topic of conversation for the last few months, and there have been umpteen numbers of conferences, of seminars, webinars, discussions, and I'm sure many of you are already aware of this education policy. What is it all about? So, rather than going to the details of it again and again, since this webinar is only for parents, today's webinar will be focusing only on those key features where um, so this, we will focus on those key features where parents' involvement is required. I need the slides. I'll be sharing some slides with you. I'll present. I mean, there will be a presentation of slides. You can go through those. Please unmute. It's disturbing. Am I audible?
Yes,
Okay. Okay.
yes,
How do I change it? You see, parents, this is for the first time, parents and teachers have been recognized as equal partners in this education system. So, without much dilly-dally, let's begin. And this is our first slide, which shows the National Education Policy at a glance. See, this is a policy which replaces the previous policy which was prepared long ago in 1986. And with so much of development happening, the education system really needed a transformation, which is why this new education policy has come to place. And this education policy is planning to focus on developing not just cognitive skills but also the social and emotional skills. It will now be multidisciplinary, and there will be a holistic approach to education. It will overcome the language barrier in learning. It will involve all key stakeholders as equal partners. which means that even the parents, earlier it was very much teacher centric. This time, the parents will be equal partner in this education system. Now let's talk about the aim. The aim is, the focus of this education policy is not limited only to high quality pedagogical experiences, but it aims to promote students' wellness, fitness, good health, psychosocial well-being, and sound ethical grounding. This is where again we need, the education system needs the parents' help, parents' cooperation. This time, the academic structure has changed. You see, earlier, and you must have noticed earlier that the foundational stage and the preparatory stage was quite neglected. This time, the education policy has carefully and thoroughly prepared a structure where a lot of importance will be given in that stage, the foundational stage, the preparatory stage also. Now let's see, the foundational stage actually it starts from 3 years, where there will be the Anganwadi, preschool, or Balvatika as we call them. And here the children will be admitted at the at when they will be 3 years old. Next, there will be a 2 years. Of course, this comes in the same slab, which is foundational stage, which will be of 5 years actually total. 3 years, which is in the Anganwadi, and 2 years, which is class one and class two. That means the age group will be 6 to 8, 6 years to 8 years. Then we move to the preparatory stage, which is 3 years. Uh, I hope you can see the slides. Okay. Now we go to the next stage, that is preparatory stage, where the children from age group 8 to 11 will be there, and this is from classes 3 to class 5. Next, we move to the middle stage, which is class 6 to class 8, age group 11 to 14. This is middle stage. Here, experiential learning in the sciences, mathematics, arts, social sciences, and humanities will happen. But in the next stage, that is secondary stage, the children can actually choose their subject. That means from now on, from class 9 onwards, they can choose their subjects. Okay, there will be multidisciplinary study, greater critical thinking, flexibility, and student can choose their subjects. And this slab is of 4 years, which means from class 9 to class 12. Age group will be from 14 to 18. Can you see the slides?
Can't miss. I can't see. Yes.
Can
Yes,
you
miss.
see? Some of them can see, some cannot. Okay. Uh, some of them can see. So maybe there's something in your system. Just check once. Maybe you'll be able to see if you change some settings in your system.
Now it's
Visible?
visible here.
Okay, okay, okay.
Yes, 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 yes.
I can see now.
Okay, thank you. So this is the new pedagogical and curricular structure which I have discussed just now. And in this framework, you see active participation of parents is required. Early childhood education will have to be, commonly shared by both teachers and parents. Parents can participate more meaningfully now in their child's formative years through storytelling, singing, reciting poems to them, and especially spending a lot of time with them. Next, we move to the medium of instruction, which is multilingualism and the power of language learning, as they have called this whole thing. Now, this again, this medium of instruction, you see, it was proposed that until grade 5 and preferably till grade 8 and beyond, of instruction would be home language, mother tongue, or local language. But considering the fact that India is a diverse country, and you yourself, we live in Shillong, and we see how many people are there. Even in our school, there are children who comes from different, language background. So, considering how much visible it will be, this this has become, a kind of suggestive and advisory. I mean, whether we will implement or not, this depends on the states, on the institutions, and on the schools. Although the bilingual approach in teaching will certainly make it easy for many parents to get involved in their child's learning, but again, let me remind you that these are only suggestions and it is advisory in nature. I mean, maybe with time we will come up with certain ideas or some kind of method through which it might be possible. But however, right now it depends on the states, on the institution, and on the schools whether or not this can be implemented. So for now, the medium of instruction will remain English. Next, we talk about the early childhood, that is learning in the formative years. And again, I'm repeating, you see, this time, in fact, for the first time, this education policy has paid a lot of stress, given a lot of stress on the early childhood education, the foundation years, okay, the formative years. This is where a child develops his curiosity, he develops logical thinking and problem solving, arts, crafts, and music, relationship with nature, colors, shapes, alphabets, and numbers, teamwork and collaboration, play based and discovery based learning, ethics, self identity, etiquette, behavior, and emotional development. So, if you see this slide, you will see that the focus is on everything, is on cognitive skills as well as social skills and emotional skills. I mean, the life skills will be taught to the students now. And again, parents' role is absolutely necessary. So, what is the parents' role to develop, to give a strong foundation to their children? Spending quality time, understanding them, and then only then they will be able to identify their qualities and potentials. And this will help them to build confidence in their students. Again, they cannot say. Why is this happening? Can you see the slides?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
okay, okay.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
think
Yes, ma'am.
some
Somebody
parents
tried
Yeah,
to
yeah.
cannot
answer
see.
just now. That's why.
Okay.
Can you
Next, we
please?
talk about the mental and physical health and well-being. Um, you can see here inclusive and caring culture at school, health checkups, focus on children with disability, reduced weight of school bags, hiring counselors in school complexes, mandatory skills which is health and wellness. These all will be in focus. Now again, parents, health checkups, which means annual health checkup of all the students will be done, for which again parents' help is required. We have always been talking about the weight of school bags right from I don't know which year, because when I studied in school also I remember carrying a heavy bag to school always, and we have been complaining ever since. This time the this policy is seriously looking is focusing on this, and see, it's written reduction in the weight of school bags and textbooks through suitable change in curriculum. So most probably the curriculum, there will be a suitable change in the curriculum which will again help in reducing the weight of school beds. This is a good news actually. Now, there will be mandatory skills to be imbibed by all students: health, nutrition, physical education, sports, basic training in preventive health care, mental health, first aid, and all this will be included in the curriculum. Next, we talk about examinations. We have already discussed the new pedagogical and curricular structure, which you have seen. It is 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4 now. So assessment also will be at key stage in classes 3, 5 and 8. Not only the board exams like it happened all these years. Now it will be in class 3, class 5 and class 8. And the focus will be on achievement of essential learning outcomes. No more rote learning. I mean, a child cannot just go home and learn an answer by heart and come next day and just write it. That is not going to happen anymore. Rote learning is seriously a no, a big no actually. Board exams will be made easier, and they will test only the core capacities and competences. And many of you, if there are any parents here who have children in class 10, class 11, class 12, you may have seen that the question paper is now designed in two parts: objective and descriptive. So you see, we have already started, though the education policy is going to be implemented from this year, but from last year only we have started this objective and descriptive. So now the exams will be designed in two parts. Um, you can see, you see. Why is it happening? Soumyadeep Das is presenting. Who is this Soumyadeep Das? Some parents are not able to see the slides. We are continuously getting this in the chat box. I think there's some, so we have to interrupt again and again. I'm being interrupted again and again. Anyway, let's move to the next slide, which is holistic report cards. This, you see now, since the exam pattern has changed, pedagogical and curricular structure has changed, so naturally the report cards will also change. And the states and the union territories have been asked to redesign progress card in school to make them holistic. Progress card will include self-assessment, peer assessment, and teacher assessment. Cards will reflect the progress and uniqueness of learner in the cognitive, affective, socio-emotional, and psychomotor domains. Progress in project-based and inquiry-based learning, quizzes, role plays, group work, portfolios, etc. will be included. And I have highlighted this part. You see, the holistic progress card will actively involve parents in their children's education and development. This is the first time when artificial intelligence based software will be developed, and this will help to track the growth of a child throughout his school years. And this is going to help students to make a very good career choice. Next, you see this
Ma'am,
is
again the slide is not presenting actually.
okay. Which slide have you not seen? The previous one. I'll show it again. Just give me a moment.
Yeah, please. Hmm. Actually, problem is that Google Meet anybody can present the screen.
Yes,
And like
yes,
whoever
yes,
joining
yes.
might be sometimes present the screen. Zoom actually it's far better because Zoom you can disable the screen of everyone.
Yes, right, right. Okay. Sir, you just take care of that, huh? That nobody is sharing the thing. You just, yes. Yes, yes. Okay, sir, I think, have you seen the previous slide? I'll just show you once again. This
No,
is
if you
the,
can show that will be great.
sorry?
If you can show ma'am that will be great actually.
Yes,
Previous site also it
and
was not
also we
visible.
will share this whole slide, this PPT in the groups, okay, very soon. So all of you will be able
Okay.
to go through this. However, I'm just repeating this. This holistic report cards. You can see this again. Can you see now?
Not really still now.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Yes.
No, ma'am.
Sir?
Ma'am, can I give a suggestion? If you go to slideshow, if you go to slideshow on your screen, then you will see, then it will come in a big screen.
No, no, actually I'm being able to see. Okay,
No,
so
if you go to slideshow,
excuse me,
go to
ma'am. I have also
slideshow.
entered this meet. I have also entered the Google Meet, and I'm being able to see. It's some of you who are not being able to see. We are
Now it's
working on
bigger.
it. We are working on it. Okay. Okay. Can you see now?
Yes.
Okay.
Ma'am.
Okay. So this is all about the holistic report cards. Like I have told you, since the pedagogical and curricular structure has changed, naturally the examination pattern has changed and the report cards, the design of report cards will also change now. Okay. So the education policy plans to set up something called PARAK. Now, what is this PARAK? What does it stand for? It stands for Performance, Review and Analysis of Knowledge for Holistic Development. This is PARAK. And what will they do? This is, it's all about assessments and developing 21st century skills. That means it's going to shift towards competency based assessments and it is going to promote critical and creative thinking aligned to the 21st century in classrooms. What is the objective of Parak? It's going to set norms, standard and guidelines for assessment and evaluation, guiding the state achievement survey, conducting the national achievement survey, monitoring achievement of learning outcomes in the country. In brief, if I have to, sum up, I will say that the whole thing will be, all over the country. The examination pattern, we are hoping that it is going to be uniform, which means like if your child is has to change the school from one place to another, you don't have to worry much about the level of of that school or the standard of that school, because we hope that all the schools all over the country is going to follow the same pattern, since parak is going to be set up. Now, this is about the socio-economically disadvantaged groups. They have termed it as SEDGs. Now, they can be broadly categorized based on gender identities, particularly female and transgender individuals, then socio-cultural
Madam, we can
identities,
hear you.
such as SCs, STs, OBCs, and minorities, geographic identities such as students from villages, small towns, and aspiration districts, disabilities, including learning disabilities, socioeconomic conditions such as migrant communities, low income households, children in vulnerable situations, victims of victims of trafficking, orphans, including child beggars in urban areas. Now, again, this in brief means that we want 100% literacy in the country. So the focus will be on all, whether they are female, they are transgender, they are beggars, they are SCs or whatever. Okay, the focus will be on all. This is the aim. Next, we'll talk about the equity, ensuring equity. Now here equity, which means that resources will be provided to everybody depending on their needs. See, in our country there is a class of people who may not need a lot of things. There's a class of people who do not have anything. They need a lot of things. So this will be classified and accordingly resources will be given. For example, you see here uh, there will be a fee waiver which will be offered to meritorious students from all SEDGs on a larger scale. Then there will be this a special education zone will be identified, which will mean that if a large population of SEDGs are there, then that area of the, that area will be declared as special education zone. That means focus will be given more in that place. So these are the different things under equity. Next, we talk about gender, which is actually in the living in Northeast, we do not understand this much, but then this is a real problem in our country. We know how the female students do not get proper chance to come to school, which is why there is a lot. There's a plan to do a lot for the for bridging this gender gap. See, we will be having a gender inclusion fund. Then there will be safety and rights for girls children particularly, and there will be a focus on bridging the gender gap and provide equal opportunities to all. And most importantly, gender sensitivity will be there as a part of in the a part of the curriculum. Next, there will be a lot of support for children with special need. You can see here enabling mechanisms, regular schoolings, assistive devices and orientation to parents, modules, alternative schools, certificate courses. So now, although CBSE has been talking about inclusive education for a long time, but then unfortunately, there are many schools which are not equipped with with a lot of resources that could support children with special need. So this is the first time we will be focusing a lot on this special group. Differently abled children will now be on focus, and teachers and will be trained accordingly. There will be technology enabled assistive devices tool for this group of students, not just them, even for the parents. There will be children with special needs who will be who will be going to alternative schools, and there will be alternative pedagogical styles suitable for them. There will be also be certificate courses for in service teachers. Next, which is very important again with the growing unemployment and growing population in the country, which is vocational education. This time, vocational education is being integrated at all levels. Okay, you can see here practice-based curriculum, which means the practice-based curriculums for grades 6 to 8 will be appropriately designed. Lok Vidya, knowledge developed in India will be made accessible to students. Skill gap analysis, focus areas based on skill gap analysis and mapping local opportunities. Skill framework, national skills qualification framework will be detailed further for each discipline, vocation and profession. Open distance learning mode, courses to be offered through open and distance learning. Vocational crafts, all students of grade 6 to 8 will intern with local vocational experts such as carpenters, gardeners, artists, etc. to develop a vocational craft. In fact, about this, I want to say something else. You see, there will be a 10-day or no bag days internship with local trades or craftsperson for grades 6 to 8. Here again, parents parents help and parents cooperation will be heavily needed, because we will be I mean, this is the plan that local trades and local craftspersons will be called or will be contacted, and there will be we will send students from class 6 to class 8 for 10 days. Then it will be an internship, and those days children will not come to school with bags. In fact, they will spend their time with these people, with these traders or craftsperson, and learn the local trade. Now we have been talking about the differently able students. We now will talk about the gifted students, the students who have, who have special talents. So this national education policy focuses on this group of students also. Encourage gifted, talented students. Project based clubs to be encouraged and supported at all levels in school. There will be more Olympiads and competitions in various subjects to be conducted across the country, which is already happening actually, but then maybe, they will be more in numbers. Project based clubs, if we talk about, then our school has already started several clubs. If you are aware of it, we have literary clubs, we have interact club, heritage club, eco club. Okay, so we have already started this. Efforts for interventions in rural areas and in regional languages to ensure widespread participation, extensive use of technology to encourage talented and gifted children. Okay, and for all this, NCRT and NCTE will develop guidelines for the education of gifted children. So we will wait for that. I'm sure NCRT will soon send us some guidelines for these gifted students. Online and digital education. Now, this is all about the use of technology, and we have already got a taste of it due to the pandemic, which came undeclared, and all of a sudden to us, it was, quite unprecedented. And then we had to jump all of a sudden. We had to jump on this platform, online platform, all of us, parents, teachers, and students. Anyway, so it is not going to be something absolutely new to us. We already have a taste of it, and this use of technology, you see, in teaching and learning and removing language barrier, especially for the young students, and in education planning and management, will really be helpful for this whole teaching learning system. And NEP aims to focus and develop the 21st century skills in teaching, learning, and assessment. And use of technology is expected to be more than ever. And this will enable the parents to collaborate with teachers and many other online learning communities. In fact, you see, this is a great opportunity for parents to participate and supervise their children's learning through various online quizzes, competitions, etc. Now let's see the timeline for implementation of ECE and new assessment pattern. I mean, you can actually take a picture of this if you want to. This is all about the plan. I mean, we are going to start from 2021, and this is, I mean, the whole thing will be over by 2026. But timeline for implementation of NEP 2020, which is, a whole, I mean, it's a bigger thing. It's not just school education, but then teachers education, school education, and many other things. This whole implementation will take time, and the plan is that it's going to start from 21, 22, and is probably the whole transformation will take place by the year 2040. Policy is fully operational. Following this, a comprehensive review will be undertaken. That will happen in 2040. To conclude, let me say that the National Education Policy 2020 aims to create a learning environment which is comprehensive, which is caring, and which is inclusive. And it is an inclusive community of teachers, of students, and parents. To ensure that our students become truly global citizens, it is important that there is a complete synergy between the educators and parents. With this, I conclude. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody, for joining this webinar.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Miss Bolo. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Hello, ma'am. Can you send this presentation in the WhatsApp group?
Yes, yes. Very soon we will send. Okay. We will send it very soon. This
Okay,
presentation.
ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.